Hello and welcome. London-based Economist Intelligence Unit, in its latest report on Ghana, has projected strong economic recovery for the rest of the year. Here's more.
The forecast by the Economist Intelligence Unit (EIU) is being influenced by what it describes as strong pickup in earnings from commodity exports for the rest of the year. This will even impact strongly on revenue for the country, which is expected to post some strong growth as well because of some new tax measures the government has introduced. The development, according to the unit, should help improve the end-of-year fiscal deficit to the 6% range. Gold would also pick up strongly, as well as oil production. Government's decision not to issue a Eurobond this year will mean that it will be heavy on domestic borrowing, while ending the year with a debt-GDP ratio of around 83%. The country would end the year with a GDP growth rate of 5.2%. Despite these exciting fortunes for the economy, the report revealed that the country will miss out on its single-digit target for 2022, as inflation would end the year at around 13.4%. On the IMF, the unit revealed that the fund stands ready to offer Ghana a program, but government would indeed reject it as it pushed for more localized program to help stabilize the economy going forward.
Of course, meanwhile, the EIU is expecting the city's end-of-year rate against the dollar to hit 7 cities 87 pesos. In its latest assessment of the Ghanaian economy, the EIU predicts that the city will continue to depreciate against the dollar for the next 8 months of this year. It links this trend of depreciation to Ghana's import structure and some actions of offshore investors in Ghana's bonds. To this end, the EIU has adjusted its average end-of-year depreciation from 6 cities 55 pesos to 7 cities 35 pesos. Joining us to discuss our associate professor at the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Lord Mensah, and head of finance at the Valley View University, Dr. William Appiah. We're grateful, gentlemen, that you could join us. I'm going to start with you, Dr. Appiah. First of all, what do you make of the EIU's projection of a strong economic recovery for Ghana for the rest of the year?
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for having me today. It's well known that our economy is gradually picking up. We have noticed a lot of business activities ongoing. Import and export is gradually picking up, and that is why we have also seen an imported inflation coming in from importation. So they are asserting that our economy will grow by roughly more than 6% this year. It's true. What is happening in the world is not stopping Ghanaians from making sure our economy grows. So that assertion that reported by EIU, it is right, and they're saying that our economy will grow is in the right direction.
And of course, does the EIU's forecast imply that the city's depreciation against the dollar is somewhat over?
So let me give a background of what our structure has been with importation. So as a country, on our export of goods and services, it is 35.8% of our GDP. And when it comes to our import of goods and services, it's 35.27% of GDP. So if you look at it on the surface, you will see that what we are, in terms of monetary flow, our country will be able to balance out and make sure that our currency does not devalue. But this is not the case. If you look at the extractive industry, they are given a permission to keep some of their proceeds outside the country, so they don't bring in their proceeds at all. So that is one factor that will cause our city to devalue. And also, we've gotten the signal that our cocoa syndication, there's a little bit problem with cocoa, the production of cocoa this year. So it's going to have an impact on our inflow of foreign income into the country. So that is why that if they are projecting that the seven cities and above devaluation of our currency to the dollar, yes, it's true, it's going to happen because we have challenges, and until we solve that problem, this is going to happen all the time.
Indeed. Let's bring in Professor Lord Mensah of the University of Ghana Business School. Prof, grateful that you could join us. The business community obviously does not respond well to uncertainty. Does this bring some comfort to businesses, especially those who raise concerns about the sharp depreciation of the currency against the local currency, against the dollar especially?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you look at the dynamics of our dollar, the businesses have a genuine case to be of a concern because the dynamics over the years has a structural upwards, movement. And I heard people talk about, volatility. Our exchange rate, it's not volatile. It has a trajectory that goes up every now and then. And there seems to be a structural, driver of the upwards adjustment. And I think as a country, we need to work on that. Possibly it will come with a policy reorientation and so possibly become self-dependent. And I always, attribute, the dynamics as to regime upon regime not being able to tackle, the structural problems very well, so that they can reduce possibly the sensitive part of the economy that we import into this country. And that should be able to go a long way to help us. But then, as we speak now, we've been relying on, external inflows of dollar to keep our, city going. And once those external, inflows start getting disappointing, then we find ourselves in a problem. For instance, this year, we realize that government is not going into the Eurobond market. And that is why we see, that huge trajectory in the first quarter of the year as far as the cedi to the dollar is concerned. And then also, government obligations that are in dollars, the interest payment that are in dollars, they may have to, look in-house, the possible dollar that we have, the dollar buffer that we have to settle, payments that are maturing within this year. So effectively, there's pressure on the demand for the dollar. And like I always categorize, the demand. The government is part of the demanders of the dollar. We have businesses also demanding the dollar and individuals. But government demands bigger chunk of the dollar, relative to businesses. So once government is not getting the opportunity to get inflows, it puts a toe on the buffer. And then also, there is a speculative aspect of it, which how information flows from a regulator to the market. I think the regulator should be, doing its own work to see how information flows. But that sometimes it looks like the speculative, driver leads the actual economic dynamic that we expect to move the exchange rate. They should look at those who are in control of the management of the exchange at the regulatory level to see how information transmits to the market. If they're able to control that, they should be able to go a long way to help out in having this issue.
It's very interesting that you raised a point about the structure of the economy being somewhat import-led, because the EIU has actually linked its focus on Ghana's import structure and some actions of offshore investors in Ghana's bond, as you rightly stated. But how can this be remedied in the actual sense of fiscal economic management?
Well, like I said, we don't necessarily have to reorient the economy to be less of import. We have countries that, there is a balance between what they import and what they export. And by so doing, these countries have stable, stable currency. And I can name several of them. But, the question is, what type of goods do you import? Are they goods that you can easily produce in your environment? Those are the questions we need to ask ourselves. If they are goods that you can easily produce in your environment, have you been putting down policies to work towards that? I think that is where we are not doing well. Because if you take, for instance, we know very well that car parts, we cannot produce them in this country. But what are we doing to minimize car parts importation in this country?
Sure.
Are we taking the bull by the horn by investing hugely on our roads so that we can get good roads to avoid regular importation of car parts that is coming as a result of, bad roads that we have. So effectively, we need to, reorient and then look at, possibly our expenditure, even where it goes. If you look at the budget expenditure and the sectors that are the expenditure is going are able to build up into your foreign exchange, controls. And that is when we can say that, yes, we are putting up, structures, or we are having policies that can easily. Let me give you a typical example. For instance, we talk about administration, looking at 1D, 1F. Did we prioritize to know that which part of the component when it comes to our goods on the market that we import? So if we're doing planting for food and jobs, have we been able to produce to a level where we'll stop importing eggs, we'll stop importing poultry? These are things we need to look at. If there are things that we can easily, control produce in our environment, we should put our policies to structure in that manner. But then as also looking at a foreign investor who is putting his money in our environment, that one we can control it. I think the president has given an indication that we are in for business. If we borrow and we, in essence, we put the money in investment that can generate, foreign exchange for us, it should go a long way to stop demanding the necessary dollars that will come into our environment. So effectively, it boils down to where we place our investment. The investment is very, very important. Expenditure and then efficient allocation of our expenditure goes a long way to build up into, the forest control.
Sure. Professor Lord-Mensah, grateful that I could join us. He's an associate professor at the University of Ghana Business School. Let's end with Dr. William Sapra. Do you side with the, average end-of-year depreciation from 6 cities, 55 pesos, to 7 cities, 35 pesos, as forecasted by the EIU?
Yes, I side with them, and possibly we may even it may get worse out than that. So, based on the statistics, in terms of trade, our balance of trade is positive. Last year we made $6.3 million in terms of trade. But what is the problem with the economy, as Professor Lord-Mensah mentioned, is our interest payment. So you see, Prof. Mensah did a categorization of people who will go for foreign currencies. Between the businesses, the trade balance gives a positive impact. But when it comes to government paying its debt to international loans they have taken outside the country, that is where the problem is coming. Because government must have to go and look for more dollars to be able to pay these debts when they are due. So if you look at our current situation, almost 37% of Ghana's debt we are holding are in the hands of foreign investors. And most of them are going to liquidate their bonds. The pressure will still come that government must go and look for the dollars to be able to pay these people. So that is probably their assertion of 8.87 is fair, but it may go up to 8, because if you look at the trend, we went up to 8.2, and then we came back. We are not going back. Central bank cannot be all the time be putting almost $500 million on the market. They need to be depleting our reserves. So the balance is not very clear for us as a country. But I agree with them. An average of 7.8 and 7.87 is okay by the end of the year.
Dr. William Sapra, grateful for your analysis on this development. He's, the head of finance at the Valley View University. His thoughts always welcome. Of course, the Registrar General's Department has increased the penalty for late filing of annual returns effective the 30th of June this year. A statement said the penalty has been increased from 450 cedis to 500 cedis, it said. Now, the increment would apply to all companies, namely public-private companies limited by shares, public-private companies limited by guarantees, which include churches, schools, unions, associations, clubs, etc., and of course, private unlimited companies as well. Now, these companies are to file the financial statement together with their annual returns at a cost of 50 cedis per year. External companies are to submit the accounts to the department at a cost of 600 cedis per year, or in default, pay a penalty of 750 cedis in addition to fees for all defaulted years, as you can see that on your screen there in terms of the late filing of annual returns. You're still watching The Marketplace with me, Charles Aite. Of course, let's now bring you a different story that could lighten up your day a bit. He left the shores of Ghana not with the intent of selling the artistic traditional treasures of Ghana, but today, Ebenezer Akakpo's dreams are coming true to fruition as his spectacular redesigning of a bus shelter with Ghana's Edinkra symbols gained acclaim in the USA. His feat follows the $1 million NFT sellout by Ghana's pallbearers in the virtual world not long ago. We have more on Ebenezer's journey and the future of Ghana's artistic symbols as he joins me live from the USA. Ebenezer, congratulations to you. What informed your artistic choice for Ghana's Edinkra symbols?
First of thank you so much for having me on this program. It's surely an honor, and I can't say I'm not grateful. I'm extremely grateful and excited. So I left the shores of Ghana 1997 to attend school in Italy to study jewelry making and jewelry design as well as stone setting. And when I was there, I was one of the problems that I was facing was, how do I become innovative? How do I become creative? And on one of my trips, to those of you who are familiar with Florence, there's a place called Ponte Vecchio, where they have a lot of jewelry shops in the same space. And I was amazed by the differences in design, even though the jewelry shops were all nested together in the same space. That every jewelry shop had their own take on, I would say, the symbol of patience, which is the Akoma symbol. And that was when I had the aha moment that, wow, I'm coming from a country where we have these visual language symbols, like hundreds of them. How cool will it be if I can, with modern technology, leverage and come up with innovative ways of actually promoting the symbols in the Western culture?
Impressive. And of course, it begs the question, are we actually tapping into the rich potential of our traditional symbols enough to talk of the art industry in Ghana?
I think so. I mean, I have a friend who runs, I think it's Oye Bags, and I've also witnessed a lot of modern or current artists patronizing the symbols in very unique ways. And it makes me happy. It brings me joy. But the best we can do for ourselves is to create uniqueness, even though we are all speaking the same language. I mean, for example, we all speak English, right? But when we are given an assignment to write about ourselves, or when we're given an assignment to write about a topic, we are all going to talk about the same topic, but with different twists. And that's how I look at it. The symbols are visual language symbols. So long as each artist can have a twist on it, it will be unique.
Of course, your work has gained acclaim in the United States and I believe in parts of the world as well. But how best can Ghanaian artists boost tourism with an international appeal, just as you have?
Wow, that's I don't want to say it's a tough question, but it's a question that needs to be answered. I will give you an example. Maybe the example that I will give is not even related to this story, but like many years back, I remember I started focusing on precision work, and I made a trip to Maryland, where there are a lot of Ghanaians, because I felt like they are familiar with the symbols and it would be an easy sale. But then I'm buying gold from here and I'm doing the production from here. So it's not going to hold the same price weight. So I remember a friend of mine took me to this family and I was all excited about, the precision of my work, like, the craftsmanship. And when I was focusing on the craftsmanship, this elderly man didn't really care about it. He said, well, like our local term, Ghana for na achakra ye penisa. And that is when I realized that we don't have any accountability for our artists and designers. if somebody makes something for you and the thing is crooked, it is best for you to tell them to fix it. It is by fixing that it becomes better. I had the same mentality when I went to Italy, and I made a ring. The ring was crooked. And then the professor asked, why is my ring crooked? And I said, because it's handmade. So then he said, is the statue of David, which was carved by Michelangelo, is it crooked? And I said, no. Is it handmade? I said, yes. And he said, well, go back and redo your work. Because in everything that you create, even if it's crooked, there's symmetry. It needs to make sense. You don't just make it crooked just because it is handmade. And I think if we can hold each other accountable for that purpose, for that reason, it will change.
All right. I want to find out from you finally, what does the future hold for your redesigning project? Are we to see more of America's bus stops given a Ghanaian touch, or you're looking at, shipping this idea back home?
Well, I would like to have it in both places, shipping the idea back home, as well as I've already started getting some leads for different states. Hopefully, it is my dream and my hope to be able to have them in all 50 states. So good luck to me, and hopefully I'll be able to bring the same idea also to Ghana. And
congratulations once again. Ebenezer Akapo there, artist, founder, Akapo Designs. He has made this lovely project of redesigning bus stops in the United States and hopes to, emulate such projects back home in Ghana. Well, the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, GREDA, and government will soon launch 20,000 affordable housing units. This is one of major steps to help bridge the rising housing deficit, which is estimated at a little above 2 million units. Here's President of GREDA, Patrick Ebobonfo.
As for GREDA, we have an arrangement with government. We signed an agreement with government, which is being reviewed to make it more functional. We signed an agreement for 20,000 housing units. It's being reviewed as we speak. And before long, we should be launching it. So we aim to price these houses, 3 bedrooms at around 300,000 Ghana cedis for 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms around 250,000 Ghana cedis, and so on and so forth. So these are super affordable houses. But the idea is that government will provide the land, services, putting the electricity, water and all, then we will come and then build the vertical, projections. So that's what we will do, yeah. And on our own, we are going to do our own greater estates as well. And the prices will be very competitive, yeah.
Mosaic Bet Ghana has said it is giving back to its customers through its Hit the Highest Odds promotion. According to the operations manager, Gilbert Edembebli, this is to foster the relationship between the company and patrons. He entreats them to take advantage of the promo and win more prizes. He was speaking at the launch of the promo.
As part of the promotion, players will have the chance of winning prizes such as headphones, mobile phones, and an ultimate prize of a Nissan vehicle. According to the operations manager of Mozart Bet Ghana, Gilbert Edembebel, the company is looking to compete with other large betting organizations in the country by providing greater options for its customers. Mr. Bebel assured that customers will get the gadget after winning.
This promotion is about a way of rewarding our players. It's a promotion just to say thank you to our players, to tell them that we have come to the market and that we are giving back to them actually what they have given to us in this few 8 to 9 months we've been in operation. I think that what makes this promo unique is that this is the first time I think a betting company that has been in existence within the 8 months of operations is giving this payback to its customers. We think that we are very grateful to them. They've been loyal to us since they got into the market, and for us we think that it's a brand that has come to stay.
The country manager of the company, Nebutsa Marinko, stated that the company wants to encourage healthy competition among its players.
It's about competition. We always think that we need to bring more to our players. Not only excitement of betting, but give them something more. And this competition is all about that. So they can bet, they can win, but they can even win more. They can win headphones or iPhone, or finally they can win main prize, that is Nissan Kicks.
This is the first time such offers have been made by any betting operator in Ghana during the first 8 months of existence. To begin playing, players must take out their phone and register an account with MozartBet.
Well, that'll be all for the bulletin. I'm Charles Ayete. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com, where you can get the latest in the world of business and around the world. Many thanks once again for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs.